by play or whatever, and it was like, here in the second quarter, 43-yard field goal, and then Kent Myers' 2-yard run. They gave up a touchdown. Rashad ran in the touchdown. Then they gave up a touchdown to Nevada. Then they had a field goal. Then they gave up a touchdown. Then they had a touchdown. Then they kicked a field goal. Then they muffed the punt and it was a touchdown. Then they allowed a touchdown. So these these mistakes and the inability really um, to get it in the end zone and to consistently do that. Not only obviously, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. I'm not reinventing the wheel here, but you finish one of those drives or any one of those drives instead of kick a field goal, which they missed one field goal as well. You finish one of those, or when you get the ball with the lead, you don't just go 3 and out and give it back to the other team. So that was frustrating. That was almost unbelievable that they didn't call different plays than you know, really it was 3 runs up the middle when they've been running the ball so well. You run it up the middle 3 times. Um, that's the exact reason why people are frustrated with the play calling. That's why people are frustrated that Matt Wells is calling the plays instead of uh, delegating and letting somebody else do it. So that kind of stuff is not helping the team. That's why this offensive line gets some I guess some blame because they looked pretty good at times, and you could tell they got in more of a they got more into more of a flow of blocking and running the ball and did better. But at the same time, the Aggies weren't running inside other than that long Lindsey run. They weren't running the ball up the middle all over Nevada. Really, it was on the outside. It was Kent Myers. It was runs. It was that jet sweep to Rashad. I mean, it was on the outside that they could just get as many yards as they wanted. So no doubt that's definitely really frustrating. It was a frustrating loss. Um, we'll probably move on at this point unless you want to add something, Seth. But going into this BYU game, there's there's not a lot to I think I do 100% believe that going into a game like this, you throw out the stats, and especially the last game of the season, you throw out the stats, and obviously they're gonna strap it up and play ball on Saturday. So we'll see what happens. I think Utah State could have a chance to come out and play well. Um, but it's almost I hate to be I don't think this is pessimistic by any means to say, but it's almost it would almost be fitting for the team to come out and play really well, whether that'll be for 4 quarters or just part of the game. Is I'm expecting the team to come out and play really well, um, but that's been the frustrations, and I won't even name names necessarily, but I mean some of the disappointing performances, both games, quarters, drives of some of these players that are juniors and seniors has been sickening. To be honest, it has been horrible, and for them to come out and play really hard and realize, oh crap, I'm a senior playing in my last game. That's almost just a slap in the face. That's almost just as ridiculous as anything. For them to come out and play well when they haven't. So, not that I don't want them to play hard or whatever. I'm I'm saying that I think they'll come out and play hard, but it's frustrating that they haven't played hard the whole season leading up to this. So Seth, what are you thinking? What are you thinking about Saturday?
I I don't I I don't really expect anything different than what we've already seen, to be honest with you. I mean, and until they prove me wrong, I mean, what else should we expect? You know what I mean? They're going to come out and they're going to do what they've always done. And I just I know a lot of people are frustrated with the quarterback play, and and I'm a firm believer. I mean, you've watched Myers, over the last 3 years or whatever, and you kind of know what you got with him. I mean, he hasn't really progressed. You know what I mean? He hasn't taken that jump forward like you usually see from a sophomore to a junior year. It's just it's just been stagnant. You know what I mean? And it just makes me think. I mean, he's a heck of an athlete. He's a really, really good athlete. I mean, everybody, if you say he's not, you're a fool. You know what I mean? But is he an athlete that's playing the quarterback position? Is he? I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like you need a quarterback, and I mean that the interception versus Nevada, I know he had pressure, but it's like I don't know. Playing it over and watching the replay on their big board there and everything, I just don't understand what, eat the sack at least, don't throw it. I mean, unless you can throw it out of bounds. I mean, you just don't throw that. But it just seems like there's always one or two plays like that a game, and people might say, oh, that's only one or two plays. Well, guess what? One play could cost you a game. So, I mean, you got to be on point. I just don't know. I mean, these linebackers that BYU has, I mean, they're going to be, I don't know if, I can't remember his name, starts with a P, their middle linebacker. He's not very big, but he's a beast. Pau.
Yeah, Pau.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be healthy or not. I heard that he's been out, for a few weeks. I don't know if he played last week. I have no idea. But, I mean,
he's been in
they're way good. Their linebackers are way good. And our offensive line hasn't showed the ability to even block the guys in front of them, let alone, scrape off those guys and get out onto a linebacker. So I don't know what to expect. I'm hopeful that they can throw the ball a little bit. I honestly, I'm ready for just to turn the page and just move on. To be honest with you, I'm just ready to get into next year and see what that brings. And a lot of stuff. And we can talk about that stuff later. What we think needs to change or whatnot. But I honestly, I don't know what to expect. I mean, they played UMass last week and they did what they should have done to UMass. They beat the crap out of them,
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, I want to talk a little bit more about some of the things. So in case I forget, I definitely want to touch on what I wrote about this week as far as Matt Wells' long-term plan. And going along with that, we want to talk about recruiting some more, especially where this team is going to have to do something different. Recruiting, they're going to have a good class. They're going to have to figure out something on the offensive line, if nothing else, just increase those numbers and talent on the offensive line, improve the talent, improve the depth of that group. There are obviously a few guys, redshirting on that squad.
No, I'm here. No, I'm totally in agreement. I mean, the offensive line's going to have huge holes. Defensive end, it's been a hole this year. To be honest with you, those guys have really disappointed me. Um, and Ricky's going to be gone, and they got to get somebody that can get some pressure on the quarterback off the edge. We got that with our linebackers, not this year, but last year. And that's due to the linebackers that we had, and hopefully the younger guys that that are on the team and right now they develop into that role. But the offensive line, they really got to start. That's what, we talked about this on the ride. It's really interesting how the coaching staff goes about everything with recruiting. They don't seem to get in on these guys early enough, and build a really, really good relationship with them. And they just wait, they might offer, their top 5 or whatever, and they go to this school, and the next guy goes to this school, the next guy goes to this school, and it's like they're so behind after those 5 guys commit or whatever, however their recruiting board lines up, that it takes them a while to reevaluate different players and start building relationships and, going over everything. And and by the time, I mean, there's a lot more corners, if you will, that have the potential than there might be linemen that are ready to go right now. There's the developmental guys. There's, guys that you think, okay, he's 6'5", 220 pounds right now, but, by the time he's, sophomore or junior, we can have him build up. But we're talking about what's going to happen for next year, game 1, and I just it's kind of disconcerting because and hopefully they surprise me and we get some of these guys and hopefully the guys they do recruit can actually like, hey, you know what, there's a lot of holes that they got to fill and I'm going to have a chance. But they got to get some studs on the offensive line that that are maulers, and they got to get some defensive ends that can rush the passer, can hold the edge and stuff like that. And it just wasn't consistent enough for me anyway, being just watching from what we got out of the production this year, from the defensive ends.